quality candidates matching your job description.
Arkansas fans work out all week just for this moment. Rushing the gates on an SEC opener to claim your spot at Baum-Walker Stadium as the Hogs get set to host the Ole Miss Rebels. Arkansas, consensus #1 team in the land, and they've got the consensus #1 pitcher in the land as well on the bump tonight in Hagen Smith. Should be a treat tonight as the Rebels and the Hogs get set to do a little baseball business in the SEC. Dave Neal alongside my partner, former Tennessee great and big leaguer Chris Burke. So glad you could join us. And certainly Ole Miss struggling. They've lost 4 in a row. They're 18-12 overall. Tough place to kind of get your footing underneath you. Meanwhile, Arkansas, Berkey, they just continue to roll 8-1 in the West in a very difficult division.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, you talk about 3 teams in the preseason top 10, and, of course, Texas A&M nipping on their heels, playing at a very high level. Alabama and Mississippi State have been solid, not spectacular. And then you got those bottom 3 that have all played a really tough schedule. LSU, the biggest surprise there at the bottom. Preseason #2, the defending national champions. Right now they are fighting for their postseason life. Life in the SEC West, Dave.
Yes. Arkansas, though, will try to stretch their lead a little bit under the direction of their, I guess, left-hander, Hagen Smith tonight. But overall, this is a pitching staff that's been dominant. It's not just about one guy.
No, it isn't. It's a complete staff, the most complete staff in the country. The best rotation for sure, but the bullpen headlined by Will McEntire has been outstanding. They lead the country in ERA, whip, Ks per 9, not walking anybody. They're 4th in the SEC in fielding percentage. And I don't know if you've heard this before, Dave, but pitching and defense, pretty good form to win bowl games.
Yeah, well, Matt Hobbs, the pitching coach you're looking at right there, certainly has a lot of great arms in that staff, and Hagen Smith is the guy. And when you start looking at the numbers, staggering so far out of the gate for Hagen.
Yeah, they really are. And this is his 3rd year now being a big-time contributor to this Arkansas pitching staff. He leads the country in Ks per 9 innings, striking out 55%, #1 in the country in percentage of batters struck out, and just 2 earned runs in 3 SEC starts. This Ole Miss offense has their hands full against the best pitcher in America.
Well, the Ole Miss lineup will try to, I guess, to find a little chink in that Hagen Smith armor, and it starts with Luke Hill, the shortstop, who's actually moving over to second base tonight. Andrew Fisher's done most of their power damage with 11 home runs. Leje will hit 3rd in this lineup, followed by Jackson Ross, the DH. He has 7 home runs. So Hagen Smith start things off with a strike. 0-1 on Luke Hill, a .250 hitter, 1 home run, 15 runs batted on the year. At the knees. In there for a strike.
Boy, how about that? At the letters, at the knees. I mean, just 2 darts to start the ball game for Hagen Smith.
Luke Hill has been flip-flopping with Ethan Groff in the top. So Hagen Smith start things off with a strikeout. That is his 73rd strikeout to just 10 walks on the year. Hagen Smith with a .74 whip, walks and hits per inning.
Yeah, I mean, we showed the numbers off the jump. Paul Skeens struck out 45% of the hitters he faced last year. Hagen Smith at 55% this year, just to give you a little context.
Here's a 2-hole hitter, Andrew Fisher, the 3rd baseman, stepping in. Andrew, the 6'1", 205-pound sophomore out of New Jersey, transferred in from Duke. He's just 1 for 15 over the last 4 games. They really need to get him cranked up. Had a great start to this season. Fisher with 11 homers and 30 runs batted in. Fouls that one back. It's even at 2-2 now.
You're going to see a heavy dose of those breaking balls, especially left on left. He's increased his usage. He's just a little over 50% fastball breaking ball right now, but the slider this year has really become a consistent strike pitch. Hey now.
Line and caught. Self-defense. Hagen Smith just sticks the leather up and it finds the mitt.
Now you talk about a tough play to handle if you're an Ole Miss offense. Andrew Fisher, left on left, sticks his nose in there as hard as you can hit it, right back up the middle. And Hagen Smith, that was not like a cue ball or a fist job right there. That ball was smoked, and Hagen Smith just robbed Andrew Fisher of a base hit.
Ethan Leger, the left fielder, 366, fouls this one down the line. It'll get a few rows back. Crowd trickling in. Early start here in Fayetteville on a Thursday night. Well, they have been packing them in, Baum Walker, this year. Last weekend, of course, some fireworks with LSU, and this is a team that's 8-1 in conference play. Swing and a miss, 0-2 now on Leger, who is hard to strike out, only 5 strikeouts and 101 at-bats. Make it 6 and 102 at-bats. 97 from Smith in a 1-2-3 inning. A little self-defense work as well.
A little wry smile after robbing number 2 hole hitter of a base hit, but this is the gas. 97 at the top of the zone. Hagen Smith off to a quick start.
Back in Northwest Arkansas, in Fayetteville, number 1 ranked Arkansas coming up bottom of the first inning. This is a team that doesn't hit the ball at the kind of the paces you might think an Arkansas team would hit it, but still it has been a consistent lineup with Peyton Stovall returning from an injury. Missed the first part of this season, but he is back and playing so well. Went 7 for 13 last weekend against LSU with 2 doubles and a home run, hitting .345 on the year. McLaughlin, Aloy, Diggs, Jared Sprague-Lott, Lovich, Hudson White, Nolan Souza, your designated hitter, and Ty Wilmsmeyer. And the guy on the bump, Riley Maddox, 2-2. Coming off a pretty good start last weekend, with the only starter to really give him a decent effort on the bump. Went 5 2/3, but the junior gets the ball tonight. What do you like about him, Berkey?
Well, you're going to see 3-pitch mix. Everything's got to be down for him. 71% ground ball rate on his sinking fastball, and he's going to have to live down there, not only in a hostile environment, but on a day where the wind is blowing out. It's really a perfect opportunity for a sinker baller to give his team a chance to win the game.
First pitch. That one is delivered out into center field. Peyton Stovall continues to swing a hot bat for Arkansas at the top of this lineup.
Well, that's how you go down and get a sinker right there, Dave Neal. A little two-seamer working down in the zone. Peyton Stovall gets into his back knee and delivers a rocket right back up the box. Arkansas with the exact start you would draw up if you're Dave Van Horn.
16 consecutive games that Peyton Stovall has reached base now. Here has Ben McLaughlin, the first baseman. Been .315 on the year. 4 home runs and 23 runs batted in. Maddox on the year. 25 strikeouts, 9 walks. Has 6 starts, 1 appearance out of the bullpen. ERA is not bad at .402, especially in today's game with the ball jumping out of ballparks.
No, he's been solid, Dave. I mean, that's why he's got the ball here in game 1, and they finally just started flipping it to him on the weekends because he's been giving them a chance.
Oh, that ball's touched. It is belted deep to right. A little too much topspin caught there by Trayson Hughes, and that'll get Stovall back to first base.
I think you're right, Dave. That ball had just a little too much topspin, but we show you the flags here. The wind is just howling out straightaway left field, and that ball actually didn't have enough air under it, or it would have been a no-doubter off the new player development facility to right field.
Berkey, when you come to the ballpark as a hitter and you see that, is it hard not to get that in your mind? Or are you thinking, I got to get it elevated today? What is your mindset when you see flags blowing like that?
I think it's as good a feeling as there is in baseball. I tell people all the time, how do you feel standing on a downhill par 5 with the wind at your back? You feel pretty good about it? You know, it's amazing how that can change your point of view.
But sometimes does it get it out of your swing, your normal swing, your approach?
Yeah, maybe. I think if anything, it can cause you to be a little over-aggressive just because you're so excited about what the result can be. But I'd still rather have it blowing at my back than not.
Oh, yeah. And I've seen you on downhill, wind at your back par 5s and hit it in the woods. So, I mean, I've seen that game. Just so you know.
I'm not saying it's foolproof, but I'm just saying I like the feeling, you know.
I got you. Wehiwa Aloy, the shortstop, at .277, a 10-game hit streak going. He's hitting 16 of his last 17. Boy, he's coming off a good week, too. He is starting to really blossom.
And I think that's the word, Dave. I think just settle in, right? Coming over after a freshman All-American season at Sacramento State, one of the most coveted players in the transfer portal. And Arkansas went right after him, got the deal done. This is a player that had over 1,000 OPS last year and hit 14 home runs as a true freshman shortstop. And it was a slow start, but, boy, he's starting to look the part now.
Out to second. Rebels trying to turn it and get out of the inning, and they do so. Well done by Ole Miss. So the leadoff single from Peyton Stovall goes for naught. We have played one here in Fayetteville. Scoreless heading to the bottom, or the top of the second.
When are sports more than sports? When your highlight reel opens the door to 4 years of higher education, 0 student loan debt, and NIL earning potential. When your stats include free room and board, nutrition and mental health support, plus medical care with extended coverage. And when your experiences, friendships, and development put you in the win column for life. For college athletes, sports just mean more.
When I was younger, I played make-believe. Now when I close my eyes, I just fall asleep. Dream on, to infinity and far beyond. Maybe they'll take you fabulous places. Maybe you'll wake up right where you belong. But dream on.
Back at Baum Walker Stadium, temperatures dropping tonight. Started right around 60 degrees. Gorgeous day, though, but should be in the lower 50s, upper 40s by the time we are done tonight. But Ole Miss is a team certainly looking to raise the temperature in that dugout. 18-12, 3-6. They've lost 4 in a row and 7 of their last 10. They had a great stretch where they were 14-2. We're talking to Mike Bianco this morning about this team, and he felt good about the way things were clicking. And then, Berkey, what kind of happened to Ole Miss here the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, you said it, 14-2. They won their first series. You know, momentum was off to the right, on the right foot. And, you know, they went to Tennessee, lost 2 out of 3. No shame in that. But really it was last weekend, right? Kentucky comes to their place. They got a packed Swayze Field, and they just didn't answer the bell. I mean, Kentucky, who's playing a really high level of baseball right now, just punched them in the mouth, and they had no response for it. And honestly, kind of carried it over into midweek game against Memphis. So it's a team scuffling right now, obviously coming off a year where they really never got it going the entire season. And so, you know, they're searching right now, and there's just no let up in this league. When you're searching, you got the number 1 team in the country.
Jackson Ross still searching for the baseball as he heads back to the dugout. The 3rd strikeout of the game for Hagen Smith. Ross, a designated hitter, starting things off. 4, 5, and 6 for the Rebels. Ethan Groff now coming in to see what he can do against Mr. Smith. We've seen Hagen up to 97 so far tonight.
Boy, and the fastball is electric tonight, David. And we talked to Mike Bianco about it. It's just the fastball has clicked up almost 3 miles an hour on an average per pitch. So hitters are having to start earlier. There's a little changeup right there. Hitters are having to start earlier, and because of that, the slider is actually up 11% from a whiff percentage. So it's just like everything is clicking up, everything's sharper. Hitters are having to cheat, and because of that, he's getting swings and misses at a record level.
Boy, now it's 3-0 on Groff. The senior transfer out of Orlando, Florida, 3 years at Tulane, now in his second year at Ole Miss. Hit .272 last year, but has really improved his offense. He's up over 300 this year with 5 homers.
You got to be ready here, Dave. You're only going to get so many 3-1 chances against this guy. You got to be ready to be short to the front of the zone here, ready for a fastball.
Right at the letters, 96. Don't know that he could have hit that even if he swung at it.
Yeah, it's probably a foul ball, but just to not take the chance, you only get so many where you got him backed in the corner. You know what you're going to get.
There's a walk, and that is news. It's just the 11th of the year. Well, you just look at Hagen Smith's body and his frame. You and I were talking before the game today about it. It doesn't even look like the same guy. He's put on 20 to 25 pounds of muscle. Lower half is just so much bigger. He's just bigger in general.
Yeah, he is. And he's just 20 years old. He will be 20 years old on draft day. And, talking to – oh, that was close. The old Terry Mulholland step-off move right there. But, talking to Dave Van Horn, people didn't realize he was the youngest player in the league a couple years ago. And as good as he's been to this point in his career, he still had a lot of filling out to do, a lot of growing up to do. And the body has really changed it this offseason. He really put some work in this summer and fall in the weight room, especially in that lower half. And it's obvious with the stuff as he's almost up 3 miles an hour on the heater.
Groff over there at first base. After the walk, he's 10 out of 10 in the stolen base department. Ole Miss has been a good base running team this year. You look down their lineup, a lot of guys stealing some bags and been successful at it. Luke Hill, 9 out of 10. Lejay, 3 out of 3. Ross, 4 out of 4. Groff, 10 out of 10. Hughes, 4 out of 5. I mean, they've been successful when they've decided to take a base. One and two the count now to Trace and Hughes.
You called it, Dave. They're stealing 37 out of 41. I mean, and it's kind of, we talked to Mike about it. It's more of a personnel with older, experienced players that they trust to give the green light to. You see Hagen Smith certainly paying a lot of attention over there to Ethan Groff. But, it's funny, Mike Bianco just said his team, the teams that have stolen the most bases for him are the teams that are the oldest, the ones where he doesn't feel like he has to micromanage it all the time.
That is up and in, 2-2. Hughes out of Warner Robins, Georgia, transferred in from Mercer, where he played a couple of years. First season in Oxford. Boy, could really swing it with the Bears. .351 average over 2 years at Mercer. Oh, and he got popped there. Well, that'll leave a mark. That is the third hit batter of the year for Hagen Smith. And that'll put him at first and second with one out now for Ole Miss.
Yeah, that was a scary one. That one's the one right around the hand area that you just hope doesn't end up in some sort of broken bone, but tends to sting a little less, Dave, when you're facing pitchers like Hagen Smith. HPPs they don't sting as bad when it's an ace on the mound.
All right, he's at first base. That's what he's thinking. All right, I'm down here.
Yep, that's right.
And now Trenton Lyons, the freshman who gets the start. Making his second start, just his 10th game of the season. And how about in your second start, you get to face this guy.
Yeah, welcome to the SEC. And we're about to find out Mr. Lyons, how ready he is. And Hagen Smith doesn't look too worried. He's out there with a big smile on his face as him and Hudson White are talking it over. But the bottom third of this Ole Miss lineup, freshman, sophomore, freshman, and Unimark, the sophomore there in the 8-hole, coming off a big midweek game, but he didn't play a ton last year. So It's interesting in a league that has become so old, and really a first two-thirds of the lineup for Ole Miss that's very old. Mike Bianco going with some youth here in the bottom third of the order, and what a tall test this is.
There's a strike, 1-1. Lions out of Memphis, Tennessee. Swing and a miss. He was a high school All-American. Dad played some baseball at Memphis and for the Boston Red Sox in their organization. Swing and a miss and a foul ball. We'll do it again at 1-2.
Boy, had a chance right there. That was one of the worst sliders that we've seen from Hagen Smith. That one was just floating up around the belly button, and unfortunately for Ole Miss, Lions just came over the top of it and hooked it foul. My guess is Smith is going to go back to that one again right here after knowing why he missed.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Lions can't believe it.
Well, Dave, he's the youngster. I would tell him don't leave the bat there. Pull the bat back. Don't give him any reason to think that bat went too far. Get it back. Don't hold on to it. I would say it probably went just a touch past the point of no return.
So 2 down. And that's the 4th strikeout of the game for Hagen Smith. And Judd Udemark, the first baseman, steps in. Judd, 282, couple of homers and 5 RBIs on the year. His 11th start this season. And quickly 0-2 on Udemark.
Big, strong, talented kid. They're hoping he can provide some power for them.
Called strike 3, inning is over. So a walk and a hit batter. Left stranded at 3 strikeout inning, 5 for the game for Hagen Smith.
When I was younger, I played make-believe. Now when I close my eyes, I just fall asleep. Dream on, to infinity and far beyond. Maybe they'll take you fabulous places. Maybe you'll wake up right where you belong. But dream on.
When are sports more than sports? When your highlight reel opens the door to 4 years of higher education, 0 student loan debt, and NIL earning potential. When your stats include free room and board, nutrition and mental health support, plus medical care with extended coverage. And when your experiences, friendships, and development put you in the win column for life. For college athletes, sports just mean more.
4-3, they've won 5 in a row. 18 straight here at home. They came in preseason ranked number 1 in D1 baseball, but for the last month they have held down the number 1 spot, the consensus number 1 team. Hagen Smith got up to a great start, had that 17 strikeout game against Oregon State. Struck out the first 15, and they have won 20 of their last 21 games, 8-1 against the SEC. Their only loss came to Auburn a few weeks back, but this has been a team that has been on a roll. And again, offensively, it's not one of their best teams, but it's been efficient, if you will, from an offensive standpoint. And they need to get this guy going a little bit. Kendall Diggs will lead things off. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for the Hogs. Diggs just 2 for 16 over his last 5 games, but did have a big 3-run home run Thursday against LSU, his 6th home run of the year. He's tied with Wehiwa Aloy for the team honors with those 6 home runs.
Yeah, Dave Van Horn feels like this is the pick to click in the second half of the season. Feels like Kendall Diggs has not hit with any luck to this point in the year. And not off to a bad start. Just they feel like this kid's an all-league kind of hitter. And, you know, we ask him if if he could pick a guy that maybe he feels like has a big second half in him, it was Kendall Diggs was the first name out of his mouth.
The 1-2. Well, that just missed on the inside. It'll be even at 2-2. "23 new players on this Arkansas team. Kendall Diggs, not one of them though. Ground ball out to second. That'll be one down. Maddox got a nice double play ball off the bat of Aloy to end the first inning. And gets another ground ball here. We're going to see a lot of those if he can continue to land that sinker.
Yeah, the sinker is a weapon, and off to a great start, getting outs on the ground the way that two-seamer is designed to operate.
Jared Sprague-Lott, the third baseman now, strolling to the plate for his first at-bat. A Richmond transfer, can really play anywhere in the infield, but has settled in at third. It's a late addition to this Arkansas roster. Came in late August. And they have certainly happy to have him, hitting .296 with a couple of homers. Out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 3 years he played at Richmond. And quickly he goes down. So Maddox with the strikeout, his first of the game, and 2 outs here in the second.
Riley Maddox looks to be in a very nice rhythm. Almost punched out Diggs a second ago. There's that slider, that good glove side slider, taking a left turn as it gets to home plate. And Maddox seems to be very confident out on the mound today as he is answering the challenge of going up against Hagen Smith.
Lovich. He'll look at a strike. It's 1-1. The 185-pound senior out of Overland Park, Kansas. 3 years at Missouri before coming to Arkansas. Tries to lay down the bunt. It'll be a foul ball. Trenton Lyons, I don't think, saw it initially.
Man, it's interesting. 3 times in a row with 2 outs and nobody on. I guess Ole Miss is just fine with him bunting there because you think you show it, then the third baseman comes in or adjusts his positioning, and then you show it again, and finally you get it down. Like, I guess Ole Miss just wasn't going to come off their shift and just dared him to do it. Sure enough, it's a 1-2 count.
Ground ball to the right side, fouled, and we'll do it again at 1-2. Lovich missed some time last year at Missouri with an injury, but still against SEC pitching in 16 games, conference games that he was able to play in, hit over 300, had a couple of home runs, but can't touch this one. I'm going to tell you something, Riley Maddox has come out here today and is pitching very well early on, a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts. Hey, when we come back, we'll visit with Arkansas skipper Dave Van Horn. Stay with us.
When I was younger, I played make-believe. Now when I close my eyes, I just fall asleep. Dream on, to infinity and far beyond. Maybe they'll take you fabulous places. Maybe you'll wake up right where you belong. But dream on.
When are sports more than sports? When your highlight reel opens the door to 4 years of higher education, 0 student loan debt, and NIL earning potential. When your stats include free room and board, nutrition and mental health support, plus medical care with extended coverage. And when your experiences, friendships, and development put you in the win column for life. For college athletes, sports just mean more.
Ole Miss, Arkansas moving to the top of the third inning here in Fayetteville. Dave, Neal, Chris Burke, and joining us down in that Arkansas dugout is their skipper, Dave Van Horn. And, Coach, Here we go again. I mean, 4 weeks in a row, you guys have been the consensus #1 team in the country. But just tell me about this team in general and the makeup of this group. Business-like, how would you define it?
Yeah, they just show up every day, man. These guys are fun to be around. They, you don't have to you don't have to give them speeches and try to motivate them. They're pretty motivated, and they work hard in practice. And there's a lot of competition amongst teammates, which is made it good. Especially you talk about midweek games. A lot of times during conference, those midweek games, they get rough. Now guys are they're kind of beat up or looking forward to the next weekend, and we got guys that are excited to be on the field. And that's why it's gone well for us.
Dave, you've been doing it a long time, coached a lot of great players, All-Americans, Golden Spike winners, big leaguers, all that. Where does Hagen Smith rank on that list?
Well, he's, as far as talent-wise, he might be the most talented pitcher I've ever had. He's probably one of the top 2 pitchers I've ever had. I coached a pretty good one at Nebraska named Shane Komani that was unbelievable. So, but man, he's special.
What is it about him? Is there something, I mean, obviously we know he can throw 97, but is there something inside that we don't know about him that makes him tick?
Yeah, you got a lot inside of him now. He's he's extremely tough. He's kind of quiet, but on game day you stay away from him, and I don't even talk to him. He's got a lot of fight in him, and he's serious as can be. I mean, he really is serious, and like I said, he's quiet, but he's such a leader because he works so hard, and his teammates just love that, and they follow him.
Oh, he's special. And by the way, I don't talk to Berkey on game days either. I know what you're talking about.
Leave me alone, Dave.
I know. Hey, Coach, we'll let you get going, man. Always a pleasure visiting with you. Good luck rest of the way.
Okay, thank you. See you guys.
Yeah. All right. I mean, when Dave Van Horn's not talking to you on game day, you just stay out of the way, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
That's intensity at another level.
At that point. That's right. What's interesting is his on the field demeanor isn't super serious. Well, we've already seen him smile half a dozen times, right, in the first few innings.
There's a high chopper, going to be a tough play, scooped up by Sprague-Lott, and safe at first as the throw got McLaughlin off the bag. That should go down. I'd give him a hit on that high chopper. I don't know if a great throw would have got him or not.
Nah, you can't give that a hit with Hagen Smith on the mound. But I would say normally that's a hit, but I'm going to say they're going to go oh, he barehanded it. Oh. Boy, the throw definitely beat him. Did he need to jump? See, that's one of those plays to me. Obviously, you would never want to give up an extra base if the ball went into the camera well or snuck into the dugout somehow to where the runner gets to second base. But you'd love to see McLaughlin try to tippy-toe that ball and stay on the edge of the base. The catcher's backing it up. There's opportunity to keep that runner at first, but you don't get that chance back once you leave the bag.
Hey, they're going to give him a base hit, Berkey.
Okay. Well,
so if he tries to barehand that, though, right, and doesn't get it with the bare hand, you still give him a hit on that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know that the bare hand was 100% necessary. How about this?
No bare hand there.
Hits. Yeah.
How about the Rebels with first and second for the second consecutive inning against Hagen Smith? Remember, Hagen Smith came in with that .74 whip.
Well, and Andrew Fisher now has back-to-back rockets. I mean, this ball's obviously a little bit topped in the 4-hole, but Fisher smoked a liner his first at bat that Hagen Smith robbed him of a base hit. Now it's a hard hit ground ball right in the 4-hole. And the Rebels stringing some hits together.
And you got your 3-hole hitter, Ethan Leger. Struck out his first time. Lays down the bunt. Smith gives way to the third baseman, Jared Sprague-Lott. He can't make a play, and they'll be loaded now for Ole Miss. Little small ball from the Rebels.
How about it? How many times in this league will you see this year a 3-hole hitter bunt with first and second and one out? Not first and second, nobody out. First and second, one out. But just shows you how tough Hagen Smith is. And Leger lays that thing down perfectly, got it past Hagen Smith. And I would assume Lott called it. That's why Smith didn't decide to glove it. But then Lott couldn't get a clean handle. And, boy, what an opportunity this is.
Now Jackson Ross, your cleanup hitter, the designated hitter. Boy, he looks at ball one. Ross struck out his first time, a .320 hitter coming into the game. The senior, 6'2", 210, out of Lakeland, Florida, transfer in from FAU. Spent 2 years in junior college before he went to Florida Atlantic. His first year at Ole Miss. Played a bunch of baseball at FAU in 2 years. All-Conference USA first team last year. Finished the season with 14 homers and 58 runs batted in. Has 7 home runs this year and 30 RBIs. And there's a strike, 3-1.
Yeah, that 3-0 pitch was, or excuse me, the 2-0 pitch must have just missed. That one catches the corner. Hagen Smith with a beautiful job of getting that ball to the outside edge and hitters counts.
Boy, how about Hagen Smith walking in the first run of the game? Well, we have seen 2 walks, a hit batter today from a guy that's control has been impeccable all season.
Well,
Matt
you know, and
Hobbs
it's interesting too. Yeah, Matt Hobbs is going to go have a chat and just make sure he slows him down a little bit. But you think about it, if the play by Lott is finished off, by Sprague-Lott is finished off, you're back and in a shift for Fisher, and that ground ball probably goes right to Peyton Stovall, and they're probably running off the field 1, 2, 3. Instead, the throw is high on the ball that Luke Hill hits. Fisher's got the 4-hole to work with. He rolls one through the 4-hole, and then the base hit bunt, and now you put a bunch of pressure on Hagen Smith, who falls behind and walks the cleanup hitter Jackson Ross. And just really interesting the way this inning has unfolded. You got to give Ole Miss a bunch of credit for taking advantage.
Ethan Groff now, the center fielder, steps in. He walked his first time up. Groff, a .304 hitter this year. Big swing and a miss on 95 miles an hour. Just misses. Hit .272 last year. Fouls that one straight back, 1-2.
Well, and no matter what happens here, Dave, you've taken a pretty good chunk of the pitch count here in this inning, to say the least. And obviously you'd love to tack on a few more here, but a win this inning for sure, no matter what. Hey, now.
Lifted high in the air, deep to left field. On the warning track is Lovich, who makes the catch, but that'll be a long sacrifice fly for Groff. And it's 2-0 Ole Miss. Boy, he didn't miss it by much.
No, man, I thought that was a no-doubter off the bat. Just because the way the wind is blowing, you would assume that ball carries out of here. Usually Baum Walker plays pretty small when the wind's blowing out 12 to 15 like it is tonight. Must have caught that one off the end of the bat, and Ole Miss tacks on another, but really Arkansas avoided a big number right there.
Ross tags up. He'll be at second base. So second and third now for the Rebels with 2 down. Trayson Hughes hit by a pitch his first time up. Tried to lay a little bunt down. Third baseman Jared Sprague-Lott.
Love it, though.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
I mean, the numbers are what they are, Dave, right? I mean, the 136 batting average against. I mean, if you got a runner on third and the third baseman's going to play back, why not try it? Great take. That is the one that everybody's been swinging and missing, especially left on left. That was a fantastic right there take by Hughes to earn himself another pitch.
To the right side. McLaughlin over to Smith. He steps on the bag, but a couple of runs on the board for the Rebels. They lead it 2-0. We'll head to the bottom of the third.
Browns this tournament, the best conference tournament in all of college baseball.
Save me, so my bones have been aching.
Oh, he tattoos it!
Time to make a stand.
Man, I'm all jacked up. Let's get to Hoover.
I cannot wait. Best time of the year right there. How about next year, Berkey? League can be a little bit better. It's a single elimination tournament. Everybody's going. It's going to be crazy in Hoover.
Bring everybody. Love it. You see, Arkansas has done plenty of damage in this conference through the year. Just the one tournament title, though, interesting. But there's pretty much only one thing left for Dave Van Horn to do with this program. And boy, are these fans hungry for it.
The College World Series, the national championship, of course, go back to 2018, and they were one play away. As close as you can possibly get, as close as maybe anybody's ever been. But maybe this is the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, and he just keeps knocking on the door with great team after great team. And the stat going around this week is even if they get swept this week, which is probably not going to happen, they would be at the least 8-4 through 12 games for the 7th straight year.
Out to short. Ooh. Out at first. Nice play by Braden out there. Sort of a little good look at his arm. As Randall steps and plants, fires a seed over to first. And White is retired. But there's the success you're talking about. I mean, nobody's won more games since 2017 than this Arkansas club.
Yeah, and again, back to that stat I was quoting, as you see here, they've been just rolling, right? But 7 straight years of at least 8-4 through 12 games of the SEC play. Nobody's done that but Skip Bertman's dominant early 90s LSU teams. Nobody. And they haven't won the final game yet in Omaha, but this has been the league's most consistent program over the last decade or so.
How hard is it, though, to win? I mean, you talk about most consistent, but look at that. They've only had 2 conference regular season championships in this run in 21 and 23. That's how tough it is in this league.
I know it. I mean, DVH has 3 total.
Out to third. Fisher throws, and nicely done by Udemark at first as he kept a foot on the bag, and that'll be 2 down.
Well, that was a big league play by Udemark. You ain't kidding. That saves them a run right there. Go to the other side of the base. You'll see a lot of first basemen kind of lunge, try to catch the ball in front of the runner. Udemark with the poise to go to the other side of the bag. Boy, that is really well done and saves Ole Miss a disaster on a ball that would have advanced a couple runners, a couple bases.
To the right side. Just testing out everybody in the infield. Luke Hill, his first start over at second base, making the play. Hey, when we come back, we'll visit with longtime Ole Miss skipper Mike Bianco. Stay with us. Rebels with a 2-0 lead here in Fayetteville. Dave Neal, Chris Burke, and joining us, longtime Ole Miss head coach Mike Bianco. Coach, thanks for joining us. And you knew coming in today you were facing one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in college baseball. But, boy, your guys' approach early on, your 1 through 6 hitters have all reached. What's been the key for them to this point?
Well, not a lot of them are hard hit, obviously, Dave. But, they've grinded out some ABs. We've took some pitches. But, man, he's tough. You can tell he can get on a roll in a hurry. And, you chase the fastball up. And just, when you're trying to not, lay off of that, he dumps a slider in there, so he's really hard.
Coach, everybody knows you as one of the great motivators in the sport. I got to know, obviously you guys have hit a little skid. You're playing #1 team in the country on the road. What was the pregame message to the team?
Well, a lot of it is this is why you came here, to play in this type of atmosphere. And we've had success here. Not a ton, but we've had our share of success here. But the truth of the matter is you can't, as my old boss used to say, you can't let the pressure of the competition take away the enjoyment of the game. And you got to get back to that. You got to get back to enjoying the game. And our guys have felt it at the beginning of the year. Then we went for a stretch, about 3 weeks, we played really well. And then about the last week or so, we haven't played well again. So we got to get back to doing that.
Hey, last thing, Riley Maddox, you throw him out here on the opening game against the number 1 team. Your thoughts about him early on?
He's been good. He's been filling up the strike zone with all 3 pitches. And, fastball, slider, and change. And he's a competitor, and that's what you want on Friday.
All right, we got another base runner. We'll let you go handle the things in the dugout. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
All right, guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike.
Boy, McLaughlin steps up there, and I don't know if he caught that one off the end of the bat or not, but it drops in for a base hit. So a lead off. Lions.
Yeah, that ball looked like it stayed in the air a while, Dave. Like Wilmsmeyer didn't get a really good read on it out there in center field. That ball had plenty of air under it for it to fall for a base hit.
And now you get to 6'5" Judd Udemark, who struck out his first time up. Udemark is you mentioned a big boy, 6'5", 250 out of Charlotte Christian High School. Charlotte, North Carolina, second year with the program. 0-2.
That fastball up around the belt is not the one you want from Hagen Smith. You have got to try to push the ball down below the belly button if you got any chance. That one up around the letters is getting swings and misses all night.
There it is. 3 pitches. Udemark heading back, but Berkey, he's getting that as a strike, so it's almost like you got to at least attempt to. You just let it go.
Well, yeah, and it's a fine line, right? The one just below the letters and the one that's kind of right around the belly button. Yeah. But you see tonight, the walks and the runs are already equal to his first 3 starts in SEC play. So Ole Miss has done more than most to this point. But look, I'd rather take my chances with that being called a strike than pull the trigger pre-2 strikes, Dave. I just don't think you're going to do anything with it.
Mike Bianca was telling us today about, hey, we got to see some pitches. We got to get Hagen Smith up near that 100 pitch mark. That's kind of the number for him. And the sooner we can get him to that, the sooner we can get him out of the game. Not that this Arkansas bullpen is any walk in the park either, but at least you get rid of this monster on the mound. And he's already up to 67 pitches here in the top of the 4th inning with only 1 out.
Yeah, and that's the game within the game, right? You're winning, which is fantastic, but also, it's day 1 of a 3-game series. Even if you can't beat their ace, can you get deep into the bullpen, make them use their best pieces? And again, Arkansas's got a few of them, but to try to set yourself up better for the next 2 games, it's all part of the best of 3 weekend series that these guys are so used to playing week in and week out.
Boy, really good take from Braden Randall. We have seen a ton of swing and misses on that exact pitch this year. Boy, what a tough matchup for a left-handed hitter. Three and 1.
Ooh. Pretty good move by Hagen Smith. A lot of times you see lefties that are this talented, nobody ever hit them their whole life, so they don't even have a pickoff move because nobody's ever gotten on base.
Right.
But Hagen Smith's pretty good. He's shown us a couple different moves. I used to say if a lefty hadn't shown you his pickoff move by the first 2 base runners, that means he doesn't have one. Right? And so some of these guys just, I'm left-handed, I'm looking at you, you're not going to go anywhere, I'm not even going to mess with you. But Hagen Smith's he's got an arsenal over there. Of course, I was fortunate to play with one of the all-time great pickoff move artists, Andy Pettit, who was a dominant left-handed pitcher, but he could steal some outs with his pickoff move as well.
Well, here's the payoff pitch. Back to first for a moment. Braden Randall at the plate, grounded out his first time up. Braden's dad, Ole Miss, former Ole Miss golfer, played with the Rebels. Fouled that one back.
7 different times Hagen Smith's gone over first. And again, we talked about Ole Miss and their improved run game. It's interesting, though, that he's paid them that much attention.
Got him swinging. Out number 2.
Well, now back-to-back Ks here after, how about this? This is probably first time all year. The 3rd inning, he did not record a punch-out. Right, but now here 2 punch-outs in the 4th to take his total to, what is that now, 7 for the game here, 3 2/3 of the way into his outing. But, you know, he's not going to have a whole lot of innings in his season where he faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hitters and not punch anybody out.
1-1 the count. Of his 7 strikeouts, 5 have been swinging. As the lineup flips back to Luke Hill, who scored the first run of the game. That one misses in. Luke, the 6-foot sophomore transfer, grew up in Baton Rouge, but went to Arizona State for a year. Started 54 games where he hit .314 with 6 homers, 11 doubles. They were really excited in Oxford to pick up Luke Hill. But it's been a little slow for Luke. Offensively, just .250 on the year coming into this game.
Yeah, and I think the hope from Mike Bianco and this Ole Miss coaching staff is get him off shortstop, arguably the most pressure-packed position on the field. Maybe you get him to second base and help him relax and you get the best version of him offensively. Because they felt like coming out of the fall he was their best hitter. And while he, you know, it hasn't been bad, it's been fine. It just hasn't been what they expected it to be, which was they felt like they had a difference maker with the bat here in Luke Hill.
Good take there, and he draws a walk. Second time Luke Hill has reached base. And now there's 2 on again. Boy, this is the 3rd inning in a row where Ole Miss has had 2 runners on base against Hagen Smith.
And now almost 80 pitches for the left-hander here in the top of the 4th.
Well, the approach
an
tonight
update
by
for
Ole
you
Miss
from
has been great.
From Baton Rouge, Dave Neal. The Fighting Tigers up 6-0 on the Vanderbilt Commodores early in that one.
You had a little inkling that something might be changing with LSU. I know Jay Johnson certainly has put his foot on that team a little bit, trying to get them to wake up after the sluggish start in conference play. And even in non-conference play hadn't been great.
No, that's right. Yeah, they lost to Southern on Tuesday. We took their phones away, Dave. Everybody knows that's the way you get kids' attention these days, right? Take their phones away.
Fouled back from Fisher.
Well, Andrew Fisher is feeling really comfortable right now. I mean, oddly so. Hagen Smith cannot like the hacks that Andrew Fisher has taken against him.
Fisher, 11 home runs last year as a freshman at Duke. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. The inning is over, so 3 strikeouts this inning, but the Rebels will leave a couple of runners. 8 strikeouts all told for Hagen Smith, but the Rebels lead it 2-0. Well, Berkey, maybe there's something to the recent national championships in the following season because things have not gone well for the defending champs the last 3 years. What's going on with these guys?
I don't know. It's really interesting. I think it's just a sign of how competitive the league is and how small the margins are. You see Mississippi State wins the national championship, doesn't make the tournament. Ole Miss wins the national championship, doesn't make the tournament. Now the defending champs LSU Tigers start off 2-7 through their first 9. Now we talked about them off to a good start here in game 1 against Vanderbilt at home. But I really do think, Dave, I just think the margins are so slim in this league. And usually when you're so good to win the national championship, those pieces that led you there usually are leaving, right? Like those pieces are not returning. And even though you got the portal, like you just don't replace national championship kind of players. And if you think about Bednar and Tanner Allen and Rowdy Jordan, right? You don't replace those guys. And you think about Graham and Elko, and as we see another ground ball here by Riley Maddox, who's just carving them up. But the pitching from Ole Miss of that team, how they got hot with Hunter Elliott down the stretch, and then last year's LSU team, Paul Skeens and Ty Floyd and Dylan Cruz, like especially Skeens and Cruz, you could go 20 years and not have players like that, right? So it's just hard to replace those guys. And as soon as you get down a little bit, somebody's there ready to take advantage of it, because this league is just unforgiving.
Wehiwa Aloy steps in with one down after McLaughlin grounds out to second. Boy, Maddox, everything he throws is moving right now. And the name on the back of his jersey just makes me think about the other Maddox. Now, I know that's a long stretch, but I mean, it's not fast. But I mean, Arkansas just doesn't have a clue right now.
No, everything working down. The breaking ball's been really sharp. We knew the slider was, we knew the sinker was really good, but it's the breaking ball that's been fantastic early on in this one.
There's a base hit back up the middle. Third hit of the game for Arkansas. Hey, Friday it's another SEC baseball featured game with number 18 LSU hosting 7th-ranked Vanderbilt. Their second game of their 3-game series. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central right here on the SEC Network and, of course, the ESPN app. LSU out in front early, game 1 tonight. Boy, 11 SEC teams are ranked in the national polls entering week 8 of this season. And you and I were talking about what's crazy about where we are in baseball. The ACC and the SEC are the only conferences that have multiple teams in the latest D1 baseball poll.
Yeah, and those two conferences are dominating the top 25. And everybody else has just got a team. I mean, it's pretty wild when you think about the fact that the Big 12 and Pac-12 don't have multiple representatives at this point in the season.
And the Big 12's representative is a newbie in UCF.
Yeah, good point.
Kendall Diggs grounded out his first time, and he looks at a 3-0 strike.
And if you're Kendall Diggs right here, Dave, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm getting a sinker kind of down away. Let me get my legs. Let me see if I can get below the baseball, get this thing up into the jet stream. You know what you're getting right here.
Now it's first and second. That is the first walk issued of the game by Riley Maddox. Hadn't walked a whole bunch of folks, just 9 coming into the game, and 33 innings of work. Mike Bianco out to the mound to talk to Maddox. Just 42 pitches to this point for Maddox.
Yeah, just a reminder about how good he's been and how effective he's been when he's worked ahead, right? You can't fall behind these hitters. Just a quick reminder on continuing to challenge in the zone. The sinker's been fantastic, and then maybe some specifics on the game plan against Sprague-Lott. But Riley Maddox continues to give Ole Miss quality starts here in game 1 of series.
Working to a freshman catcher, Trenton Lyons. That one misses just inside. Boy, you just don't see as many freshmen getting time in this league anymore in the transfer portal world. Mike Bianco throwing a couple of freshmen out there. Randall at shortstop, Lyons behind the plate, and that one gets past Trenton Lyons, and the runners will move up to second and third.
Oh, no, that was just weird. That was a really big miss. I mean, he's trying to throw an arm side fastball there, meaning into the right-handed hitter. And this ball is yanked all the way back across his body. Look how far out that is, Dave. And, yeah, you know, maybe Lions can make that play, but we haven't seen any misses like that from Maddox to this point in the ball game.
Here in the bottom of the fourth inning, 1 out, 2 on for the Hogs. Here's a chopper. The shift is on. They'll give it to Randall. He'll throw to first, but Arkansas does plate a runner. Cut the lead in half. So Ole Miss now up 2-1 as Aloy touches home plate.
Well, and you never know there, Dave. That could have been a double play, maybe, if you don't give up the free base on the pitch before, right? So just a huge missed opportunity as they give away a free base.
Yeah, Luke Hill and Randall both standing on third base side of second. Ground ball to shift again, and they'll get the out. So the Hogs do pick up a run, but they still trail 2-1 through 4 innings here at Baum-Walker Stadium. There's Hagen Smith. Pitch count up to 82 pitches here as we get set for the 5th inning. But, you know, there's always the comparisons, right, to who's the next great pitcher. Well, last year, Paul Skeens was the dude, one of the greatest dudes to ever grab a ball in college baseball. And the comparisons, Berkey, the numbers, what this tells me, because Hagen Smith's having such a great season, what this telling me is how great Skeens was last year.
Yeah. No, he was incredible, and so incredible that he was the first pick of the draft. And unfortunately, he's not in the big leagues right now, but certainly could be. But, yeah, I mean, Hagen Smith, really, other than just that first start where he left the game after 1 inning, he's really been, you know, right there with Paul Skeens as far as dominance.
Ethan Leger has struck out, reached on a bunt. Will start things off, so 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Rebels. Quickly behind, 0-2, fouls that one straight back. Yeah, there were a lot of folks in the Pittsburgh area that were a little bummed when they were sending Skeens to AAA and not on the big league roster when they broke spring training. But I have a feeling it won't be long before we see Mr. Skeens. He dominated for the most part in the spring.
Yes, he did, and he went out AAA and dominated. I think he threw, can't remember how many pitches at 100 miles an hour plus, but he actually started here in Louisville, and we were out of town, so we couldn't go see him. But, you know, I don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do. Of course, nobody wants to start these guys' clocks too early, but he will be there soon.
Another strikeout for Hagen Smith. He's up to 9. But when he's pitching, you better bring all 27 of those Ks. You just never know. I mean, 17 earlier this year.
Yeah, and it was against Oregon State, Dave. Like we talked about the Pac-12 only having one ranked team. That's it. It's Oregon State. And Travis Bazana is one of the best hitters in the country and is going to be a top 5 pick. And Hagen Smith just mowed through that lineup.
This one looks like in foul territory. And it'll be caught there by Aloy. Nice catch. Deep down the line and left.
Oh, we get to see the flow, which is even, you know, the catch was nice. The flow is better. And, he's got to be, this shows you how hard the wind's blowing, Dave. This ball stayed fair, first of all, and got out there, 275 feet or so. And that is some grande league hair right there by Mr. Aloy.
Nothing gets by you, Berkey. Little two-tone look, and not the same flow from catcher Hudson White, but still makes a nice catch in foul territory. Nice, quick, easy inning for Hagen Smith. 1, 2, 3 go the Rebels, but they lead it by a run.
When I was younger, I played make-believe. Now when I close my eyes, I just fall asleep. Dream on, to infinity and far beyond. Maybe they'll take you fabulous places. Maybe you'll wake up right where you belong. But dream on.
Winter sports, more than sports. When your highlight reel opens the door to 4 years of higher education, 0 student loan debt, and NIL earning potential. When your stats include free room and board, nutrition and mental health support, plus medical care with extended coverage. And when your experiences, friendships, and development put you in the win column for life. For college athletes, sports just mean more.
Boy, great day to be at the ballpark here, Baum Walker Stadium, where the Hogs have won 18 straight games, a program record at Baum Walker Stadium. Ole Miss, though, leading 2-1. Dave Van Horn just chugging along once again with this Arkansas team at 24-3. They have won 20 of their last 21 games. Ole Miss, though, giving them all they want tonight behind the right-hander Riley Maddox, who's kind of a midweek guy and just continued to pitch well and finally earned his spot in this weekend rotation, and now opening up a series at #1 Arkansas tonight on the road.
That's how you earn your spot right there, just dotting two-seamers at the bottom. We've seen this from Eli Jones at South Carolina, A.J. Causey at Tennessee. The return of the sinker baller, Dave.
Fisher. I like it.
I'm in.
Well, don't forget this weekend our featured softball game right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. #4 Tennessee hosts #3 Georgia, part of a 3-game series in Knoxville. Coverage begins Saturday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. Out into shallow right and safe at first. I have a feeling this one might go back to the video center.
Well, this is
close play.
It was. This is the challenge of playing that deep on the shift, right? If you don't come get it, oh wow, he got to the front of the base perfectly. Kevin Sweeney there at first base, right on the call.
It's hard to see with the sun.
Well, Utermark didn't exactly go out there and stretch for it. I don't see anything that would make me want to overturn it.
The call at first base is being challenged by Ole Miss. That'll be their first challenge.
This is just one of those,
definitely worth the challenge.
Yeah, it definitely is. We talked about Luke Hill making his first start at second base. This is all new, right? We got you in a shift. You're playing deep, but when you're playing deep like that, and a guy like Souza who can really, really run, you got to catch that ball running through it on the run. And I think that one will stand, Dave. Ooh. I just don't see how you could overturn that. I mean, we have seen so many this year that look like you could overturn them that still stood. I don't see any way that one gets overturned.
I think it might get overturned.
Okay, you're calling it?
I just think it might. Anytime you have to say "I think," though, it's going to stand.
know.
I mean that's
you're
the
right
word.
there. That look right there is the most convincing.
The call in the field is going to be overturned to
Oh,
out.
wow.
Ole Miss still retains 2 challenges.
You were all over that one, Dave. Put that in the scorebook.
That's it. I highlighted that. It's the only highlight I've ever had in 25 years of calling college baseball. It's my only highlight right there.
Well, Luke
that'll
Hill
be the
got away
second
with it.
out.
But he will make a mental note. I might need to come get that one a little bit more next time.
But yet another ground ball from Maddox.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Wilmsmeyer. He looks at strike 2.
9 ground ball outs now from Riley Maddox. And if you count the double play, it's really 10, right? You get 10 outs on a ground ball.
I guess the key is if you can land that for a strike, just enough to keep him swinging at the plate. There's another ground ball. Scooped up over there by Fisher. And Maddox, you hate to say it, but folks, he's looking a little bit like Greg Maddox with all these ground balls out there. 2-1 Ole Miss. Well, through 5 innings, Riley Maddox got the best of Hagen Smith right now. Just 3 hits allowed by Maddox, only 1 run. Hagen Smith, 5 innings. I think the shocking numbers are 3 walks. He also has a hit batter. But right now, Ole Miss doesn't look like a team that's lost 7 of their last 10 games as they lead 2-1 here in the top of the 6th inning against the number 1 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. Trayson Hughes to lead things off. 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Rebels. Trenton Lyons to follow, and then Judd Udemark. Trayson Hughes has been hit by a pitch and grounded out to first base.
So the most pitches Hagen Smith's thrown this year is 100. Be interesting to see if they let him go past this just to get through 6, depending on how this inning unfolds. But they have not pushed him into the 110, 120 range all year long. That doesn't mean they won't tonight, but we just haven't seen it yet.
That one scoots by. Trayson Hughes
and then where
had a
does
tough weekend against Kentucky, just 1 of 11 at the plate.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Where does Arkansas go? Down 2-1. Do they go to McEntire? Do they go to one of their best bullets out of the bullpen? There he is. Well, I guess that answers the question. Will McEntire, who has been the guy in this Arkansas bullpen so far this season.
I mean, I think regardless, this will be the last frame for Hagen Smith. It has not been. Remember, Hagen Smith came in with just 10 walks on the season. He has issued 4 walks here tonight, plus a hit batter. And now you get Trenton Lyons, the freshman catcher, making just his 2nd start of his young Ole Miss career. Fouls that one off. Smith with 9 strikeouts. Again, he averages over 18 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Yeah, this is not what we've seen from Hagen. So we've seen this plenty his first 2 years on campus. Not that he wasn't fantastic, but we've seen some outings that looked like this his first couple years, but not so much this year. 4 walks is a season high, and we still seen the dominant swing and miss numbers. It's just the command has not been as sharp as we've seen throughout the course of this season so far.
Lyons has never seen anything like this.
Oh, it's
freshman
nasty
at the
there.
plate. I mean, just looked at 96. Came back with an 80-mile-an-hour pitch. Swung right over the top of it. Well,
and it's interesting, Dave, because there's nothing on his velo chart that's 80. Like, even the changeup is 87.5. The slider's 84. So it's interesting what he pulled the string on there at 80 miles an hour, but it certainly was effective. But he just continues to kind of just misfire a little bit more than we've seen from him.
This will be pitch number 100 on the way for Hagen Smith. Shot foul, 2-2. And for Ole Miss, you've done what you expected to do. You wanted to, you were, if you could get him out in the 6th inning on 100 pitches, call that a victory for the Rebels.
Heck yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. They get a chance to get Hagen Smith out in the 6th and the number 1 bullpen arm into the game, and they're winning. I mean, you couldn't draw it up any better if you're Mike Bianco so far.
Swing and a miss.
Oh, did you see that? Hagen Smith just looked in the dugout and shook his head no. He just shook his head no. And it looks like they're going to stay with him. He looked right at Matt Hobbs and said, no. Do not come get me.
Matt Hobbs, a pitching coach for Arkansas. Udemark goes up there, fakes the bunt, swings away. And he falls behind 0-1. He's struck out both times, once looking, once swinging. It's 0-2.
Now that is a well-commanded fastball right there. That one down and away, that's just hard to get the barrel to. That thing just darting down towards the edge of the corner.
Swing and a miss for the second out. And for the third time, Udemark goes down.
That looked like the changeup there. See, just a paint piece here on the fastball down on the outside edge there to get to 2 strikes. And now it looked like he turned over a changeup, Udemark out in front. And just when it looked like Hagen Smith was scuffling to command the baseball, he carves up Udemark to move 1 out away here as he's reached his season high in pitches.
11 strikeouts, 9 have been swing and misses. And Braden Randall, the 9-hole hitter, steps in. He's one of those 11 strikeouts. Trayson Hughes still over at first base after starting the inning with a walk. Lifted in the air. Playable out there in left. Lovich will make the catch. And so a season high in pitches for Hagen Smith. Maybe not his best performance on the mound, but we'll see if that's it for Hagen. His team down 2-1, heading to the bottom of the 6th. Arkansas Razorbacks. Baum Walker Stadium, one of the great venues in all of college baseball here in Northwest Arkansas on a gorgeous Thursday night. Number 1 team in the country, though, has their hands full right now with the Ole Miss Rebels, who come into this one really nothing to lose. After a tough week, swept by Kentucky, where they were just really dominated. It was just a disappointing all the way around for the Rebels last weekend at home. And then they go to Memphis in their midweek game and lose to the Tigers. And come in here and you just wondered what you were going to get. Well, what we got is Riley Maddox, who has been fantastic. How about just 57 pitches for him?
No, I mean, it's been a clinic. Keep the ball down, change speeds, move it around, and the double play ball, of course, can always get you out of a jam, which he's, did right out of the gate in the first after a leadoff hit by this man right here, Peyton Stovall. It's interesting, though. Arkansas is going to play some games like this, Dave. You're talking about a team that's, they're 10th in the league in batting, and they're 8th in the league in runs scored. I'm talking about just in SEC play. Yet they're 8-1. Of course, that just screams how great their pitching is. But, this is an offense that, while has some depth with veteran hitters that can certainly produce, it's not what you would consider one of Dave Van Horn's scariest lineups by any means.
Yeah, it's just off the plate. It'll go to 3-2. Well, Maddox pitched well against Kentucky for 5 and went 5 2/3, the longest outing by a starter last weekend for the Rebels. And there's a walk. So Stovall will start things off as he'll stroll down to first base. And the 2-hole hitter, Ben McLaughlin, comes up.
Big AB right there by a veteran hitter. Team scuffling. you're getting in the latter part of the ball game, top of the lineup. You need your leadoff guy to put together a quality at bat and get on the bases, and Peyton Stovall does just that.
That one misses inside. We talked about some of those pitching woes last weekend. The Rebels walked 20 Wildcat batters last weekend, and 10 of those 20 walks came in to score. We'll see what happens with Stovall over at first base. Mike Bianco out to the mound once again to talk to Maddox.
And the ball's starting to kind of dance around on Maddox a little bit. The misses are a little concerning.
Looks like Josh Mallett's just now getting up for Ole Miss in that bullpen. Guy that missed last year with an arm injury, but when he's good, he's really good.
Yeah, one of the best breaking balls in the league a couple years ago. That slider was a big reason Ole Miss was able to capture their first national championship.
Boy, it looks like Maddox has just kind of lost a feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
65th pitch on the way, and it's down in the dirt. That's going to stay close enough to keep Stovall over at first base.
Boy, that's surprising. Felt like that ball got far enough away from Lyons for Stovall to advance. You didn't want to take a chance, though, on the 2-0 count with nobody else, I guess. Right now, boy, you see he hesitated. And once you hesitate, you got to put the brakes on. Last thing you want to do is get thrown out right there when you don't get a good jump.
And it's 3-0 now, and back-to-back walks.
Ruh-roh. This is where it gets interesting, and now the confident Aloy comes up, who's already barreled up a ball in this ball game his last time up, gets a chance to give this home crowd something to cheer about.
The native Hawaiian, one of 3 in Arkansas baseball history. Tied for the team lead this year with 6 home runs. Team leader in RBIs with 26. His first home run in an Arkansas uniform was a grand slam against Central Arkansas. That was shot out to right. It is hammered. It is out of here. Home run. Wehiwa Aloy gives Arkansas the lead with a 3-run blast.
Well, that'll get the home crowd up on their feet, Dave Neal. That is a loud swing of the bat right there, and those walks, will they kill you or what? Couple walks to start this inning, and you get the Razorback 3-hole hitter who's starting to really feel comfortable with a chance to do some damage. And man, did he. That was a 1-iron into the right field bullpen, Dave Neal. That ball got out of here in a heartbeat.
Mike Bianco going to have to make a change. And boy, in just a 5-minute span, Riley Maddox went from slicing and dicing to serving it up.
Yeah, the sinker didn't sink right here. Just stay on it, use the backside of the field. A backside no doubter. The Hogs give the home crowd something to cheer about as they take the lead, and the transfer from Sac State puts an exclamation point on this rally.
Boy, Riley Maddox looks so good for 5 innings and then just couldn't find it. A couple of walks and a home run. Goes 5 innings, 68 pitches, but he'll leave this team down 4-2 now and turns it over to Josh Mallett's, the right-hander. He was worked himself back into the mix now for Ole Miss, the junior out of Tampa, Florida. And as we said before, when he's on, he is very, very good. 15 innings of work. It's his 9th appearance of the year. 18 strikeouts and 10 walks. As Mike Bianco was telling us earlier, there are no parameters on him anymore. He is fully back from the arm injury, and they're just letting him go.
Well, and it's amazing how many times, this is kind of a big trend in baseball these days, right? The third time through, of course, it's become a hot button issue in Major League Baseball, how so many starters are not allowed to go the third time through. But it is wild. We've had Rob Vaughn, the new coach from Alabama, on a few times this year, and he's said it a few times, like the best time to get starting pitchers, the first inning or the third time through, right? And Riley Maddox, just that third time through, just didn't quite have it for whatever reason.
But it really wasn't like they were hitting him. He walked the first two guys on, I think it was 9 pitches.
Mm-hmm. Just the command got shaky, and Aloy makes him pay.
Little check swing chopper back up the middle. Fielded there by Randall, and he'll make the play, and that'll be the first out.
Well, Randall's done a nice job, shortstop tonight. He's made a couple Charger plays. We saw the backhand earlier. Certainly looking the part defensively.
Jared Sprague-Lott, a couple of strikeouts, a strikeout, and picked up an RBI on a fielder's choice earlier. In a 4-2 ball game. Boy, launches that one deep into the sky. Fair or foul? Fair ball. Home run.
And just like that, the #1 team in America with a 4 spot here in the 6th, and the offense getting it rolling again. Not the most explosive offense Dave Van Horn has ever fielded, but they have figured out ways to win ball games, and the long ball is on the menu here in this one as Sprague-Lott, just his 3rd home run of the season. Boy, he was sitting on that breaking ball, Dave.
It was high into the Arkansas sky. There's a bunt that the shift was on. That's going to go for a base knock. Ross Lovich plays it
He's just
perfectly.
going to do it, isn't he? He's just going to do it. We saw, what did he fake like he was going to do it 4 times his first at bat? Let's watch the homer, though. We see the bunt. Now the homer, see, just sitting on that breaking ball, and you could tell just how on time he was. Look how on time he is. Just gather, let the ball get to you, and that thing hooking right down the left field line. Looked like it hit the foul pole, kind of midway up the foul pole. And that's executing the game plan right there. Mallets throws 65% sliders, and that's what it looks like to go up there and hunt a first pitch breaking ball and trust your scouting report.
You see the first guy in the dugout to hug all the home run hitters, Aloy, and Sprague-Lott was Hagen Smith, because now he's in line for the win if they can hold on.
That's right, and not only is he off the hook, he got a chance to get a dub.
Hudson White fouls that one back. He's behind 0-2. There is Hagen Smith. That one's high into the sky, but shallow center field. Ethan Groff charges, makes the catch, 2 down.
That was the first home run allowed this year on a Josh Mallett's slider. And just a solo variety, not a 2 or 3 run homer, but still, that just shows you how good that breaking ball usually is. I'm sure there's not a whole lot of guys that have gone up there and ambushed a first pitch slider the way that Sprague-Lott did.
The first home run overall given up by Mallets this year. Nolan Souza, the designated hitter. A freshman out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Big hole on the left side for a base hit.
Well, he's a whisker away from being 3 for 3, right? He had the hit taken away from him last time after he was deemed to have not beaten out an infield single, but the freshman, the highly touted freshman with a couple knocks. Be interested to follow where he ends up. He was a big-time star prep shortstop. So I'm sure it's a big adjustment getting used to DH in here, as the middle infield right now with Stovall and Aloy is locked up.
Ty Wilmsmeyer, the 9-hole hitter, 0 for 2, couple of ground outs. Wilmsmeyer, 4 years with the Missouri Tiger program. First year here at Arkansas. Pops up the bunt. Nobody's going to be able to catch up to that one. And Dave Van Horn telling us he's waiting on Wilmsmeyer to get that bat going again. He hit over 300 last year with Missouri, starting 54 games. He hit 311 with 7 homers. Led the team in batting average. Was also 21 out of 24 in the stolen base department. Just 1 out of 2 this year with Arkansas.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes we take for granted that the transfer portal is, you're just going to take these numbers and plug them in over here, right? There, especially when you come from conference, you stay in the conference, right? You come from a Southeastern Conference school, but playing at a place like Arkansas is a totally different animal than playing at Missouri.
Swing and a miss. Wilmsmeyer goes down. But a big inning for the Hogs. 4 runs come across the board.
Wehiwa Aloy, let it loose, young fella. A big one, a large one into the right field bullpen right on time. The Hogs needed some offense, and Sprague-Lott doubles up as the Hogs offense flexes their muscle. We had the pleasure of seeing the best pitcher in college baseball tonight. Maybe not a vintage Hagen Smith performance, but 11 punch-outs nonetheless. The fastball was electric early, getting a lot of chases up there around the letters. The slider changeup maybe not quite as sharp as we've seen from him in some earlier starts this year, but I thought the fastball was big time. We saw him up to 97 miles an hour, grounded his way through 6 innings, and you're pretty good when 6 innings, 2 runs, and 11 Ks is not exactly the standard that you've set, but how about that 6 games with now 6 innings and 10 Ks? Hagen Smith on a pitcher of the year type of campaign for the Hogs.
Well, they turn it over to Will McEntire, the senior out of Bryant, Arkansas, and he has become one of their dudes out of that bullpen. His 14th appearance of the year already, 2-0 record, sub-2 ERA, 41 strikeouts to just 6 walks. Why has he been so effective?
It's the cutter, Dave, and he's going to throw it about 43% of the time, more than any other pitch. He throws the cutter more than the fastball, and it's just a pitch he does a fantastic job of getting it just like that, getting it to the outside edge. And it's not a big break. It's not exactly a dominant, overpowering pitch, much like Kevin Kopps had a few years ago for this team. But he misses barrels and does a fantastic job locating that pitch.
McEntire's 6th appearance in an SEC game. He's got a 1.5 ERA. Opponents hitting just 132 against him in league play. Here's a little chopper. Aloy charges, throws, and they'll get the first out here in the 7th. Well, Friday, it's another SEC baseball featured game. Number 18 LSU hosting number 7 Vanderbilt for their second game of this 3-game series. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the SEC Network and, of course, the ESPN app. And right now, LSU on top of Vanderbilt over in Baton Rouge. You know, the home folks probably getting a little restless with this 2-7 start in league play, and the loss to Southern in their midweek game.
Yeah, that doesn't make the home crowd real happy.
No.
Luke Holman 5 2/3 just gave up 4 in this ball game, or just gave up 3, excuse me, to get his total to 4, and he's been pulled for Griffin Herring. So LSU fortunately has a big cushion, but Vanderbilt making that one interesting with a couple guys on in the 6th.
And Luke Holman had really been the guy for them on the mound. Matter of fact, he's leading the league in ERA with a 1.38 ERA, a 5-1 record. But that will certainly head north after tonight's performance. Well, you think about where Alabama would be had they kept Luke Holman on their staff. Alabama having a really good season under Rob Vaughn. They tied 22-7 on the year. Alabama at Kentucky. Interesting to see how Alabama plays Kentucky. Of course, the Wildcats are a team that not many people were talking about early on, but you better start paying attention to the Cats right now. 8-1 in league play, leading the East.
Yeah, just doing it again, right? We saw the same thing from them last year, just off to a fantastic start, playing the game in a different style, different brand of ball than we see a lot of teams in this league play, with the stolen base and the inside game and moving the baseball. But, boy, did they go down and light up Swayze Field last weekend. Nick Bengione has that club playing at a very, very high level.
That one is fouled back. We'll do it again.
Andrew Fisher has looked totally locked in this ball game. I mean, he is, the energy, the body language, it feels like he's seeing a grapefruit up there by the confidence with which he's swinging the bat.
Now it's full 3-2. Yeah, he's always looking to compress the baseball with his swing.
Yeah. Yes, he is. And, you know, set a Duke freshman record with 11 home runs last year. Comes to Ole Miss and already has 11 this season. Just the one hit tonight. But, of course, he hit a rocket for an out his first AB off Smith.
Fouls that one off his foot. And that one misses down low. So a 1-out walk to Fisher. Nice at bat for the Duke transfer. You know, his dad was pretty fired up when he decided to transfer to Ole Miss. His dad, Buddy, attended Ole Miss, so he could bust out all his Rebel gear.
That's right. That's right. You have a freshman year like he had at Duke, and he probably could have transferred a lot of places. Well, now, isn't that interesting? Leger is walking into the plate. That's like old Hal Morris style. I'm going to go way throwback. Remember Hal Morris from the Reds way back in the day? Watch where my man Leger is standing in the box. Watch him. Give me that. Watch this. Look where he's starting. And he's walking into it.
How do you feel about that?
I can't. I'm trying to remember last time I saw that between now and Hal Morris. I feel like somebody else has tried that, but this is, you know, Arenado does a deal like this with his feet where he kind of rocks back and forth, but not so much where he's stepping towards the plate with both feet. I'm kind of into it. Like, I'm here for it. I didn't notice that against the left-hander. I feel like this is a look how far off he's starting. I mean, he is way off that outside corner.
And so many guys are taught to get up on the plate.
You know what's interesting, though, Dave? Sometimes you start so close to the plate that it can make you want to pull off. He's going the opposite deal, right? Like, I'm going to start way off the plate and then make sure that all my energy is going towards it as the pitch is arriving.
He pops it up in the infield. Caught there by McLaughlin. That'll be the out number 2. Interesting approach.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm into individualism as it pertains to guys trying different things. I think in general, it's, you watch a lot of great hitters. Most of them are moving their energy, whether it's their posture, their stride, or both, towards the strike zone, right? Get me closer to home plate, both with my center of gravity, with my spine angle, and with my momentum, so that I can cover the outside corner. Most pitchers, if you can't cover the outside corner, they've got you beat before the bat even starts. But that's a unique way to do it there, where he just literally walking into it.
That one stays up. It's 1-1 on Jackson Ross.
Well, you see what Will McEntire wants to do. He wants to throw cutter, especially these right-handed hitters. I mean, that's why you could tell he was a little uncomfortable against Fisher. But you put a righty up there, and he's just going to cut you to death on that outside corner.
Check swing 1-2. What was the pitch the Cops threw? I mean, what that thing that he used to throw up there that nobody could hit?
He called it a cutter. And, we called it a gyro. I mean, it was like when it was good, it was unhittable. And even when it was bad, it was unhittable. It either would dart dead left or it would almost hover above the barrel.
Yeah, I just called it that thing. That thing.
Yeah, that unhittable thing.
Right. Well, they're using McEntire a little bit like that. McEntire, a guy that can eat up some innings for you. Matter of fact, he's got the most innings out of the bullpen for Arkansas this year. Check swing fouled off.
Yeah, they'll use him to get an out. They'll use him to throw 4 innings. They'll use him to close the game. He's done a little bit of everything. Again, similar to that Cops role. And one of the big differences, I mean, his stuff isn't quite as electric as Cops' stuff was by any means. But also, it's a much deeper, more balanced pitching staff, so they don't have to call on him quite as often as Cops was used that year.
Now it's full 3-2. Chilly night in Fayetteville. Temperatures in the low 50s. We started at 61 degrees. And the inning is over. Got the strikeout. So Ole Miss will leave a runner. Head to the bottom of the 7th. Hogs up 5-2.
Winter sports, more than sports. When your highlight reel opens the door to 4 years of higher education, 0 student loan debt, and NIL earning potential. When your stats include free room and board, nutrition and mental health support, plus medical care with extended coverage. And when your experiences, friendships, and development put you in the win column for life. For college athletes, sports just mean more.
When I was younger, I played make-believe. Now when I close my eyes, I just fall asleep. Dream on, to infinity and far beyond. Maybe they'll take you fabulous places. Maybe you'll wake up right where you belong. But dream on.
Took Arkansas's offense a little while to get going here tonight. 3 of 17 through the first 5 innings, but 4 hits last inning. 2 of them left the yard. as they pick up 4 runs to take the lead 5-2 over Ole Miss. Arkansas kind of had the number of Ole Miss of late. They've won the last 3 series against the Rebels. Josh Mallett's his night is done as he turns it over to Braden Jones, a sophomore out of Madison, Mississippi, making his 12th appearance of the year. 13 1/3 innings, 13 hits, 16 strikeouts, 9 walks for Mr. Jones, as he will face the top of this lineup with Peyton Stovall, Ben McLaughlin, and Wehiwa Aloy. Boy, getting Stovall back in this lineup has really changed the dynamic a little bit. Kind of a weird situation. Got hit right before the season, got hit by a pitch in his foot and didn't think much of it, but ended up breaking a bone in his foot. Had to sit out a while, but he is good to go now and sitting at the top of this lineup. Has a hit and a walk tonight, and he's behind 0-2.
Well, one of the coach's worst nightmares in the last few days of preseason camp is somebody getting hurt.
High in the air to right. Grayson Hughes, a few steps in, will make the catch, and they'll retire Stovall. Well, Saturday on the SEC Network and the ESPN app at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, Game 2 of their 3-game series in Knoxville as number 4 Tennessee hosts number 3 Georgia. And then at 2 Eastern time, 1 Central, it's time for some spring football. Auburn's A-Day game at Jordan-Hare Stadium on SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus.
Already that time?
It is that time.
I guess April is spring game month, isn't it?
You don't think in the as Steve Spurrier used to say, the talking season in July and August, there'll be a lot of talk about where the Alabama program's going without Nick Saban, do you? You don't think that'll be a hot topic?
Just a little, yeah.
Gee.
There's usually no shortage of storylines in the Southeastern Conference. The talking season, the spring season, any season.
Right. They're all talking seasons.
That's right. That's right. Just tune in Feinbaum. He'll give you all the talking points.
McLaughlin, first baseman, hitting in the 2-hole, draws a walk with 1 out. Back-to-back walks for Ben McLaughlin. And now Wehiwa Aloy steps in. He hit into a double play in the first inning, singled in the 4th, and then hit the 3-run shot to right his last time up. Now has an 11-game hit streak and has reached base in 17 of his last 18 games.
He's a strong dude now. I mean, that ball he hit his last time up, he hit it and he stopped almost as he was crossing home plate to get out of the batter's box, like he thought it was a line out right to the right fielder. I didn't realize he knew it was a line drive off the player development center in right field. I mean, you talk about having some juice. When you hit a ball at that trajectory and know it's gone oppo, you are a strong dude.
It went 346 feet pretty much on a line. This one is lined. They'll make the out at second. McLaughlin gets back to first, but 2 down.
Boy, he's barreled some balls up tonight.
Now batting for the Razorbacks, number 5,
Kendall Diggs, the right fielder, looking for his first hit. 0 for 2 with a walk. Now 2 for his last 18 at the plate. Popped him up left side. That'll get into the seats.
I'd say it's got to be really a comforting feeling for Dave Van Horn to think that you got a hitter with the talent of Kendall Diggs. I mean, Diggs was second-team All-SEC player last year, 12 homers, 63 ribbies, led this team in RBIs. And, again, it hasn't been a terrible start, but he certainly got a lot more in the tank. But they're off to this incredible start, and he hasn't even gotten rolling yet.
That one misses now 2-2. Diggs usually the DH last year, but due to some injuries got moved into the field and right field late last season. Swings and misses and the inning is over, so Jones does his job. McLaughlin's walk does no harm. Ole Miss trying to get their bats cranked up, down 3. Always a good time, Baum Walker Stadium in Fayetteville. Number 1 Arkansas holding on to a 5-2 lead as we head to the 8th inning. Wehiwa Aloy with a 3-run homer in the 6th inning. But one of the guys that's putting on a clinic this year at the plate, Charlie Condon of Georgia. It's our nightly update of the Charlie Condon Stakes. It has been remarkable. We talk about Wyatt Langford, the season he had last year, really 2 years ago as well, with 26 home runs. And the comparison to Wyatt Langford is pretty remarkable. And the fact that Wyatt Langford is already playing for the Texas Rangers, I'm not saying Charlie Condon's doing that, but when you look at that comparison, Charlie Condon's putting up numbers very similar to Wyatt Langford.
Yeah, no, I think you look at the trajectory of both of their careers where they were, not exactly big-time recruits, and Langford played sparingly, and Condon redshirted both their first years, and then, boom, immediately superstars the second they get a chance to get into the everyday lineup. And then somehow Langford, he hit fewer home runs as a junior, but he hit way more extra base hits. And Condon is literally on a record-breaking pace with his slugging percentage. It's not just a home run, but he has a higher slugging percentage at this point in time than Pete Incaviglia did the year he hit 49 homers. So now again, we got half a season to go and an SEC slate and all those kinds of things, and we know he's on a little 8 at-bat skid. Yeah. So, law of averages says it's going to come down a touch, but he is as polished of a hitter as Langford at this point in time. I mean, when you look at all the different analytics that surround swing decisions and swinging and missing and batted ball profiles, all those kinds of things, Charlie Condon checks all those boxes, and he's 6'6", 215 pounds. I mean, the power is immense.
19 homers, 11 doubles, a triple. And he's only struck out 17 times. I mean, he's walked 26, struck out 17. So his plate discipline is certainly remarkable as well. And if you miss, he makes you pay.
Well, you and I had the pleasure of calling a doubleheader where we got to see him play 2 games in a row, and he only went 5 for 8 with 3 home runs. And he should have had another double, but he hit a ball so hard the umpire couldn't get out of the way of it, and it went for a single.
That's right.
But, that day told me so much about his pitch recognition, which to me, when you are that talented, that big and strong, your pitch recognition is the separator between a guy that's just up there swinging the bat, hoping to run into the ball, and a guy that has a chance to truly be one of the greats. Because pitchers are going to try to change their game plan up against you so consistently that if you can't recognize the baseball early, you're going to swing and miss a ton. And, boy, he seems to have just fantastic pitch recognition.
There is a strike to Trayson Hughes, 1-2 the count. He's having such a great season that you overlook the seasons of like Jack Caglione. We haven't talked about him much this year. He's just been dynamic on the mound and at the plate. And the other one is Braden Montgomery at Texas A&M. 17 home runs for Montgomery, and he's hitting .385.
Yeah, and Gage Miller is right there with all of them. I mean, Gage Miller's second in the league, I believe, in both batting average and OPS. So he's right there with the top guys in the league right now. With still, again, a huge part of the season left to play. But Gage Miller was not on anybody's radar to be in that conversation to start the year, but yet here he is for Alabama playing at a All-American level.
The other two guys that jump out at me are what's going on in Knoxville with Kavaris Tears and Blake Burke. I mean, Blake Burke, we've seen him for 3 years now, but, I mean, his average is 400. Dude, he has 16 doubles and 10 home runs.
Yeah, and he leads the league in conference play in batting average in SEC games only, and that is literally a 180 from last year where he really, really struggled against SEC competition.
Boy, there are some stars in this league. And we've talked about it, the smaller draft, the transfer portal, the NIL, all those things combined to keep these guys playing baseball a little bit longer. And certainly the experience when you're playing as 22 and 23-year-olds elevate your game a little bit. Instead of playing minor league ball, you're playing college ball.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a lot of reasons as to why the game is more talented now, especially the Southeastern Conference, the portal, the draft, the development, the investment of these programs into their baseball. But it is crazy right now how many stars there are in this league.
Wilmsmeyer just shy at the track, makes the catch. And 2 down.
Another guy who's having a monster year in the league is Corey Collins, who ever since being put in the leadoff spot by Wes Johnson at the University of Georgia has just taken off. And he is right behind Blake Burke in SEC only batting average, but he leads the league in homers. He's got 7 home runs in 8 SEC games.
He had a stretch heading into last weekend where he had 8 home runs over a 5-game period and was hitting .650.
Yes, and note to all you starting pitchers when he's leading off the game, don't just think he's going to give you strike one. Like,
right.
Don't be surprised if you groove old pitch number 1, you might be down 1-0.
Awkward swing there from Trenton Lyons, and he's behind 0-2 to McEntire. Got him. McEntire's coming out of the bullpen and retired 6 of the 7 he has faced, and another strikeout for Hogs pitching tonight. 5-2 Arkansas lead.
Well, the cutter from Will McEntire continues to baffle Ole Miss hitters. McEntire just keeps getting it done.
Well, the 6th inning was very kind to Arkansas. Wehiwa Aloy with his 7th home run, a team best. 3-run shot. And 2 batters later, Sprague-Lott went yard for the 3rd time this year. Picked up his 11th RBI, and that is a 4-run inning that has propelled Arkansas to a 5-2 advantage over the Ole Miss Rebels as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Sprague-Lott to lead things off. The Richmond transfer, all A-10 second-team performer last year. Hit .314 with a team-high 13 homers and 43 runs batted in. One of those guys that certainly had the luxury and the thrill of playing in the Little League World Series with the Mid-Atlantic regional team back in 2014. I can't imagine what that's like to be an 11, 12-year-old kid getting to compete in that event.
Yeah, you're going to have a chance to do what only a few have done, go from Little League World Series, maybe go to College World Series. Certainly Arkansas is going to be one of the top contenders to get to Omaha this year. That'd be a nice little stepping stone in his career to be able to check both of those boxes.
Well, he's going to check that box maybe next time I'll swing. He goes back to the dugout after the home run, gets a little paint piece.
Yeah, he did. Boy, Braden Jones has done a nice job since coming into this ball game. That thing is just dotted on the outside corner. We're going to get another bunt from Razorbacks. Are they respecting the bunt this time?
Yes, they've kept somebody over there in the third base area. Now, they do have the shift on. They have moved the shortstop, Randall, over to the second base side, but this time they're keeping the third baseman, Fisher, closer to the bag. What is it? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, it's well. I mean, he wasn't exactly fooling them. He showed it to him like 6 times.
Good point, right?
And I give him credit, man. Like, okay, and I kind of like both sides of it. Like, Bianco's like, we're not moving until you prove to us you can actually get it down. And he's like, I'm going to keep trying until you move somebody. But now with 2 strikes, they go back to the traditional shift, vacate the third base position.
There's a little chopper right at the shift. Braden Randall over to first. That'll be out number 2. Tonight after the game, SEC Now will be in Cleveland in preparation for South Carolina and the women's Final Four. Plus, they break down Alabama's path to the men's Final Four. You can always watch this as well as every single game and every single show on the SEC Network on your ESPN app from anywhere that you may be.
Braden Jones got good stuff tonight. That ball getting out of his hand, 94, 95 miles an hour. Landed the breaking ball.
To the right side. Bobbled. And Udemark able to get a glove on it and step on the bag. And that'll get us to the 9th inning. Ole Miss needs a big frame to keep this one going. No KKK for him. I mean, he caught looking the first time up. At least he swung it the last 2 times.
Not bueno.
Arkansas leading 5-2. 7 hits for the Hogs, 4 hits for Ole Miss. Wehiwa Aloy with that 3-run homer in the 6th inning. Give Arkansas a little bit of separation as we head to the 9th inning. Will McEntire still on the bump. Trying to pick up the save and get the win to Hagen Smith, who looks to go to 6-0 on the year. So Will Furnace grabbing a bat. He will pinch hit for Judd Udemark. Furnace hitting just .235 this year. He's a guy I think that they expected some more out of at the plate, and still plenty of time to get there. But .235 for a guy that's got just a sweet, sweet swing, the sophomore. Looks at another strike, 0-2.
Boy, I don't blame him there. That ball looked down. Will McEntire gets the benefit of the doubt on a big curveball at the bottom of the zone.
I think Will was just talking to our home plate umpire, Danny Cricks, about that same decision. Over to first, underhand toss to McEntire, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Well, that puts you in a bad spot on a call like that. 0-2, you got to be protective, and Will not able to get the swing off he was looking for. Don't forget, tomorrow, Game 2 of the Vanderbilt LSU series coming your way right here on the SEC Network. LSU trying to hang on tonight. Got off to a big lead, but Vanderbilt was knocking on the door, having some opportunities late in that one. LSU
9-6, bottom 7.
Okay.
Yep.
2-7 for the Tigers to start SEC play.
Yeah, there is I guarantee you there is a level of desperation in that building right now, as they're just trying to get off to a good start here in this series, because it's Vandy at home and then on the road at Tennessee. And we all know, I mean, you have to hold serve at home in this league. You can't lose home series, right? And they already lost one of them to Florida. And so this is a huge game one for them against Vanderbilt, who's kind of had an up and down conference slate themselves here to start the first 3 weeks of this conference season. Two sweeps and a get swept.
That one's fouled back out of play. It'll be a tough night for Ole Miss tonight because they didn't play really poorly. A couple of bad pitches from Riley Maddox, who was really good for 5 innings, got to the 6th, walked the first 2 guys of the inning, then gave up the 3-run homer, just completely lost it in the 6th inning, but until then was pitching extremely well. They'd gone to the bullpen, got what they wanted there. And look, you had a 2-0 lead on the best pitcher in arguably the best pitcher in college baseball in Hagen Smith.
Yeah, I mean, when he walked off the field for the last time, you were winning 2-1. And then, unfortunately, it all went sideways for Riley Maddox. But, yeah, there's, again, you know, we talked to Mike Bianco about it. McEntire now just 1 out away. They've got – McEntire's going to throw 50-plus pitches, right? So – it's not all lost, even if they can't come back here down to their final out.
"14 strikeouts by Hagen Smith and Will McEntire tonight. 11 by Hagen Smith. The 6th game this year for Hagen Smith where he's pitched 6 or more innings and had 10 or more strikeouts. To the right side, Stovall gloves, throws it in the dugout. Nice job by Hudson White to get over there right in front.
Yes, this was a fantastic hustle play by Hudson White, up and out of his crouch to get there. Stovall just didn't get the grip, right? He dives to his left, gets to his feet, and shaking his head there because he had a chance. If he'd have gotten the grip perfectly, maybe could have retired Luke Hill and gotten off the field. Unfortunately, though, he just couldn't quite get the grip, and that'll be it for McEntire.
And you know, Dave Van Horn went out there and just said, Stovall just killed you right there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nice job by McEntire, but at 50 pitches, McEntire's night is done. We'll update the change when we come back. Arkansas looking for just 1 out. Back in a moment.
Going to put on a show tonight. Caitlin Clark, she's the show. Oh my!
He is good.
You better call somebody. You know my name now. Floating in the air, Asaya James. Hey, Packers. We're not even supposed to be here.
Still undefeated and still dancing.
That's what makes the Final Four so fun. Anybody can take it.
And UConn,
South Carolina, the Hawkeyes are headed back to the Final
Will McEntire, his day is done. 50 pitches. He and Hagen Smith put on quite a show tonight. Combined 14 strikeouts, 2 2/3, 1 hit, 1 walk. I wonder if he'll be available for Game 3 on Saturday. I would think so.
Yep.
Stone Hewlett, though, the senior, takes over, making his 12th appearance. Another ERA of under 2. Just 6 innings of work, but 14 strikeouts and just 1 walk. He needs 1 out. And he starts things off with a strike to Luke Hill. Or excuse me, Andrew Fisher. Luke Hill's over at first base. One and 2 the count.
And now you got to dig your heels in here and be ready for that slider away. Nice take right there. You could tell Fisher just got to the end of his rope before he was able to put the brakes on. Hewlett going to probably keep throwing those sliders on the outside edge here.
Swing and a miss, and this one's in the books. Hewlett comes in for 1 batter and gets the strikeout. The 15th Rebel to go down on strikes tonight. Hagen Smith goes to 6-0 on the year. Arkansas's first 9-1 start in conference play since 2009, and the #1 team in America looks every bit the part. Berkey.
They certainly do. They just keep pitching it at a elite level, right? Just 2 runs again in a game where maybe Hagen Smith wasn't even his sharpest, but the offense keeps finding ways to score him enough runs. And man, this is one heck of a winning formula Dave Van Horn's got going this year.
6 in a row for the Hogs, 21 of their last 22, and they extend their home winning streak to 19. Game 2 tomorrow, Baum Walker Stadium. So for Chris Burke, the rest of our exceptional crew, hope you enjoyed this one. Arkansas wins at 5-2 over the Rebels. We'll say so long from Northwest Arkansas. Time to get you to SEC Now and Peter Burns.